I'm Psi.
I'm Bella.
Welcome back to the channel, fandoms. If you're new here,
We react to music videos and shows.
today we're going back to Trese, but we're doing the after show. They call it After Dark. So it's just some commentary from the cast and crew and creators of the show. We really enjoyed
I really enjoyed it and learned so much.
Yeah, we really did enjoy season 1 of Trese. It was a nice ride, a supernatural thriller based on a manga from the Philippines, and now we're gonna get some commentary and check it out from the cast and creators. So let's dive right in.
Trese is a story all about a female detective named Alexandra Trese, whom the police call when crimes take a turn for the weird.
Is she the voice?
Our attempt
to
answer those mysteries that we grew up with and finally put them to rest.
The stories that Kajo and Budjette created, they're epic, they're beautiful, it's heartbreaking.
Oh, these are images from the manga.
And that alone,
wow.
I believe that the series is unique and special.
Welcome to The Diabolical, a bar in the Treseverse where humans and monsters can come to unwind. Tonight, we are talking all things Trese, from its beginnings as a comic in 2005 to a full animated series on Netflix 16 years later.
Wow.
Joining us from LA,
Nice.
we have executive producer, showrunner, and director Jay Oliva.
We also have executive producer of Trese, Tanya Yuson. Welcome to The Diabolical. We're so happy to have all of you
Filipino
here.
language
Thanks, guys. And as
So,
Filipinos and horror fans ourselves,
not the
we're looking forward
actors
to
that
the
did
conversations
English
we'll be having tonight.
version.
Gotcha.
But is it just me, or are we missing someone?
A very special part of Team Trese couldn't be here with us, but she left us a special message.
Hi guys, I'm Shay Mitchell, and I'm
That's what I
voicing the
thought.
English language Alexandra Trese. I wish that I could be there in person with you guys. I'm so
Trese.
So this question is for Kajo and Budjette. Let's start with Budjette. Who is Alexandra Trese in the 2005 comics? And what was the inspiration for her character? I know that she was supposed to be a man, but you changed her in the last minute. What was the reason for that?
Alexandra
Interesting.
Trese was inspired by wanting to create a detective character for a Manila story. He's another tough guy, and we've just seen so many tough guys in Pinoy film and in comics, and I thought we haven't seen a really tough female lead character, especially a detective
Yeah,
character
I
for
like
that
it.
matter. So I asked Kajo, what if we make Trese a woman? And
I love
he
it.
came up with the
glad
fantastic
I did
design
it.
for Alexandra Trese. Kajo's promise was that if I gave him a 20-page script, he would finish it in 20 days.
Wow.
And he did that for the first case, and we just kept doing that over and over again.
That's a lot of art.
And
Yeah.
we just kept working on that. And yeah, there was never a serious discussion of like, we should turn this into an anime. We should find a way to turn this into, a Netflix show. But yeah, from my end, it was just really more about, let's work on the next issue and get the book done.
Yeah, pangarap lang, pinangarap.
Yeah.
But no, that Netflix deal was a shock.
That would have been amazing foresight, actually.
It's a prophecy already if you have that.
Yeah. But now let me ask our star, Liza. We saw your tweet last March when you announced that you will be voicing Alexandra Trese.
I love how they were able to create this world, a world that I can live outside of this scary world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what struck you
She
the
looks
most
like her,
about
too.
Alexandra
Yeah.
when you first read about
bit.
her story?
How much I could relate to her, actually, because she feels this pressure and this burden to be like, I don't know how her mom died.
Why don't you ask?
Yeah.
Yeah, Budjette.
And is the kambal really dead? Like, is Alexandra's kambal really dead? Is that
See?
You're talking about tigers.
in Filipino teleseries, right? Sometimes, for some reason, the kambal is always alive somewhere.
You will have to wait to find out what happened to the kambal. And as far as Alexandra's mom is concerned, I think we just left a little clue in one of the stories. So maybe the the show will now inspire the comic book.
Is there any characteristic from Alexandra that's the furthest from you?
Like if an aswang does something that she doesn't want to do, like she'll go in and fight them and like murder them. I don't think I could do that. Because I'm too emotional. And I think, yeah, that's probably our difference. I think she puts a lot of thought into everything that she does.
I had my own little personal lesson that also helped me to understand the broader picture of what we were working on. I can't wait for everyone to watch Trese.
I feel like I can relate to Trese also. I mean,
Inside your inner Trese.
Yeah,
just like,
my inner Alexandra.
Correct.
She's an all.
She drove all the way down from San Francisco to record. Like she's
wow.
she's like this part is too important for me to pass up on this. The one thing that they all expressed was how wonderful it was to not have to hide their accent and also hide that they're Filipino. This is
That's super interesting. We sourced it from Manila, and then my producing partners from Indonesia, and then Netflix picked it up out of Tokyo, and then they brought on Jay, who's from LA, but the writing was coming out of Manila. These guys.
Were you guys like pinching each other under the table?
Yeah, we are up to now. We actually have a third hand. We still can't believe that this happened.
We found somebody recommended the books. And I thought it was amazing. It was so all about Manila. It was so all about the Philippines. But
I love it.
if you didn't grow up in Manila, if you didn't know these characters, it would be such an exciting world. So I cold called Budjette. I messaged him, and he must have been wondering, Budge, like, who is this chick, like, messaging me?
Yeah, well, thankfully it was recommended by a friend. So at least, I knew you weren't a stalker or anything like that.
Let me ask Jay and Tanya, how did you adapt the character of Alexandra?
translate this in such a way that it's true to the comic, but we do our own little twist to it. We sat down with Kajo in Manila. We talked over kind of how to translate that style.
And then when we talked about character,
pretty awesome.
because, for Budjette and Kajo, when they created the books, they were about the mysteries. It's almost like the spells are in a deeper, older language. So we said, okay, spells will be in Filipino and then the dialogue in English.
Sa mata ng iba, mga lihim, magpapakita.
And it's that balance of clarity, but also texture for an accent.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about like
great.
the clarity at the same time for an international audience. I guess the other funny challenge is time difference, because by the time they were recording and if I had to coach, it was LA time as opposed to Manila time.
One of my favorite things about the animated series is the beautiful locations that you can actually relate to, finally.
That's a big... They're so beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah. In episode 4, I bet you guys remember that there's a police station there and there's a cemetery. I grew up streets away from that exact cemetery. I pretty much live in that area.
Oh, wow.
So when I first read that, that's like, I live there. Not in the cemetery, mind you, but that's what's funny. That's what's funny. It's like we kind of take these things for granted as Filipinos.
I said, he's like, okay, are you guys ready? He's like, yeah, where are we going? You're going on the MRT. We're going to do all 13 stations. And they're like, sure. They had no idea what they were in for.
It's unlike any other train in the world.
We wrote it from top to bottom, beginning to end.
Its own kind of character, and it's a city that's very unique on its own, and I wanted to try to capture that with the backgrounds, the textures, the colors, and really be true to the culture there.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up in Manila, parating malamig. That's why, that's the codes work out. It's never humid in this Manila.
So it was Manila pre-climate change.
Ours.
Very cool.
Yeah.
For this segment of Trese After Dark, we have the Trese Almanac, where we take a look at some of the iconic monsters from the show, their roots in Filipino folklore, and how exactly they were characterized for Trese.
The aswang is one of the most feared monsters in Filipino folklore.
Said that they enjoy preying on travelers by leading them astray.
Favor from the tikbala.
One of the most famous white ladies in Filipino folklore is the White Lady of Balete Drive in Quezon City. She often appears at night in the backseat or rear-view mirrors of lonely drivers who pass by this haunted road. So many Filipinos grew up with their own version of these stories.
delve deeper into what the origins of these creatures are. And it kind of gave me a deeper insight as to what they are, what they do, and like what their purpose is, if there is any.
What about you guys?
Up to now, it's not really a childhood story. It's you know, the act of pagpag, or the idea that we have to go somewhere else before going home after coming from a wake. So the idea is that basically like the ghost might follow you home.
Human nature. You know, I grew up frightened of balete trees because of the whole folklore behind
Me
it.
too.
I want to
In our
ask
backyard.
Budjette and Kajo, why did that occupy like a special place in the series? For you to use that as the first story?
The White Lady of Balete Drive was one of the stories that we grew up with. It seemed like a friend of a friend had encountered that White Lady. I just wanted to write her secret origin.
Well, the White Lady, she's the most obvious.
For the supernatural ones, I love San Telmo. To have that character be this like chaotic neutral is really fascinating. And then for the non-supernatural, like who doesn't love Cap G? Like Captain Guerrero.
Captain Guerrero.
Like, he's exhausted, but you know, you want that guy, the solid good guy, like in that world, like as an ally. So aside from, you know, Alexandra and the Kambal, of course.
Mine's actually the Senor. The reason is that he only has one scene in the whole show, but that was my favorite to write. That's the scene where you show Alexandra trying to step up in the place of her dad and being toe-to-toe with this titanic being that has lived for centuries. And then it shows like the kind of breadth the story has.
Captain Guerrero's Cap G. He sounds like some kind of rapper. Cap G in the house. You know, I've been running the question in my mind, and I think I still keep going back to the Kambal. They're just fun. They have two purposes in life, which is to party and to shoot.
Sandra.
Yes. Solid, steady.
Yeah. And of course, Jay.
And I'm going to do the cop-out where I'm going to say everyone. Because, so here's the thing.
Fell in love.
I think the first scene where I really fell in love, or the first storyline that I really started falling in love with Alexandra, was when they were showing a bit of her backstory with her father and her going to the big balete tree where she had to do her missions. That's when I started falling in love with her, because I started kind of understanding what she was. That's when I was literally getting goosebumps. And then I remember I was video calling my boyfriend, and then I was like, oh my God, this story is amazing. It's everything I've ever wanted. And then that's when I knew I loved this.
We do keep true to the spirit and the world of Alexandra Trese and this world that Budjette and Kajo created, but it's a ride.
I want to ask Budge and Kajo, how does it feel to see what was once just a passion project now make it on a global scale?
We wanted to tell a story that was magical, that's big on mystery, and puts the spotlight on everything that we were afraid of as kids. And now it's something we can share with the rest of the world.
I wanted to do something that my parents could understand what I do. My parents still don't know what I do. They don't.
Kajo, ikaw na.
One sentence. The Trese universe is crazy. So watch this show before it gets crazier.
It's true.
And that's all the time we have for Trese After Dark.
I loved it, and I'm sure you will love it too.
Yeah, I like it.
Now go watch Trese, streaming on Netflix.
Already seen it. Thank you.
Love it. We should have watched this one first.
It would have given away too many of the secrets, but it was definitely cool to see some of the behind the scenes on where the monsters came from and what they mean in the culture.
Yeah.
And the fact
they haven't even showed the capre.
I don't know what do you mean?
As a younger, the myth and where we live, there's a guy underneath the tree. They showed it there. smoking
I see.
in the dark. That's capre.
All right. Well, then they did. But
I mean, he had no story there. I'm sure he's gonna have a
maybe
story
he'll be in the next season.
Yeah.
But it was also really cool to understand that not only were the creators Filipino, but a good percentage of the team that built and designed and wrote and animated and all of these things,
very well diverse.
Many of the people on the team were also Filipino.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. This was truly a Filipino cultural product.
Yeah.
And
that's why they're so proud of it.
Yes, and they should be. Yeah. They should be very proud of this Pinoy animation that has been created.
And then on top of that, the lady that introduced it to Netflix, she's a well-known producer.
Well, that's how these things get done.
Yeah.
You have to know people, but it's great that this exists now. Because it's a real testament to the creative nature and the abilities of these people, and it will stand to show that this can be done more. And so we can expect, I hope
they
to see more of this show specifically, but maybe of other Filipino cultural products.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to see more of those on an international stage.
Now I feel like I want to get the comics now.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can locate those. But I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it here for now. This was a great little extra piece of information about the show, especially after having seen it. It clarified a couple of things, and it just gave us a little bit more of something that we really enjoyed. And so I'm glad that we watched it, and you should check it out too. And if you haven't watched Trese, it's a good ride.
Yeah.
You don't need to be Filipino to watch it.
Exactly.
You don't need to understand the language to understand it. It's
all in
primarily
English.
in English, and you can enjoy it as well. And so thank you guys for all your support, and we appreciate the love, and we'll see you guys in the next video.